Welcome to Film Riot. Starting right off, we're going to do a little bit of follow-up, which is before we talked about a video that Corridor put out talking about Linus Tech Tips and how he was talking about the Red cameras and how I disagreed with that. Well, Linus Tech Tips has now put out a video where they go through the reasons that they actually bought an 8K camera, which I really dug. It was nice to see them come back and sort of clarify that. So definitely check that out. They have a lot of good points. There's definitely stuff to be pulled from that. And you got Nico from the Sam and Nico channel on there as well. So definitely check that out. Link for that in the notes below. Then for the last episode, we were talking about the Canon C200, and I said that the camera has 15 stops of dynamic range, which it does not. Canon says that it has 13 stops of dynamic range, but with other cameras, even what Canon promotes that the camera is capable of, it usually performs a little bit less than that. So more than likely, the camera is landing somewhere in the 11 to 13 range, maybe. I don't know. I haven't done any scientific tests for it, but that was just a little slip of the tongue during the actual read on the day, so just wanted to clarify that. Then some people were asking me how I converted the raw footage. A lot of people use Blackmagic, but I have been using Canon's software for that, which is the Canon Raw Development app. And right here you can see that once you point it to the folder, you have all your raw footage. So I can then click on my footage and open the preview window. So similar to what Red has, I can now go through and start messing with all my settings. So I can change the color temperature if I wanted to. I can change the brightness value, the white balance shift, the sharpening, and then I can apply a different color space on here if I wanted to as well before bouncing out. You can also create proxies here and send them out with the raw converted versions, but I just wanted it as raw as possible to then edit. But once you apply it to your media pool, you can then export that out so you can use it inside of Premiere or whatever else you're editing in. Then of course I did talk about briefly that I was using my new SLR Magic anamorphic lenses. I've been testing these to do an episode on them, and we will definitely do an episode on them soon. So far, I really love them. I did notice while using them with an EF adapter, there's a bit of chromatic aberration that happens depending on what type of shot I'm doing, but I've talked to the SL Magic folks and they said that that's just because of the distance that you're having using that adapter. So I'm going to be getting some PL mount cameras as well to test that so I can have a really thorough review of these lenses, because so far I really love them. They have a lot of character, a very nice anamorphic vintage feel, which is what I really love. That classic cinematic sort of vibe. So I've really been liking them, but again, I need to use them some more before I have a total opinion on them. But these are 133 times squeeze lenses, so you can use them on standard HD sensors. You don't have to use 4.3, which is great because it opens up to a lot more cameras that you can use it with. And just like with any anamorphic setup, when you look at the footage, it's looking a bit stretched. So you come into Premiere, go to Modify, Interpret Footage, and then I'm just going to switch it to HD anamorphic, and then there you go, you're good to go. But again, I'm going to test them a bit more, and then I'm going to have a review on those lenses for you guys very soon. And the last thing I want to talk about is a contest that Robert Rodriguez is putting on to celebrate the 25th anniversary of El Mariachi, which he shot for $7,000 on his own without a crew, then wrote a book called Rebel Without a Crew. Well, now they're doing a series called Rebel Without a Crew, this series, which is going to be something like a 6-episode series that's, I think, going to be airing on Go 90. But the point is, they want you to submit to possibly be one of several filmmakers that they're going to give $7,000 to make their own feature film. Now, that's not very much money to make a feature, but it's entirely doable if you're smart. And what's great about this is you're going to be sort of working with Robert Rodriguez on the whole thing, and it is a great way to get some impressive exposure. So definitely check that out. There's a link in the notes below. And I read that Robert Rodriguez is actually going to make a feature of his own again for $7,000. And if that's the case, that is just entirely awesome. So definitely check that out. It sounds like a really cool opportunity and very much worth your time. If you're a budding filmmaker, entrepreneur, innovator, domain.com is the place to go when the next idea hits you. When you get a domain name from domain.com, you're taking the first steps in creating an identity and vision for your brand or idea. The world's top 2 premier and most recognizable domain name extensions are .com and .net, which means those are the ones that are going to help you build your brand and expand your presence online the best. And for a limited time, from now till August 31st, you can get 35% off when using the coupon code FILMJUMBO at checkout. And when you think domain names, think domain.com. Logo. So that's it for today, which means it's time to talk about what I'm watching, or in this case, listening to. A friend of mine, Dan Trachtenberg, suggested this podcast to me called Movie Crypt, and I had never heard of it before, but it's something like 200 and something episodes in, and the podcast is really great. It's another one that is very much like film school in a podcast. It's from Adam Green and Joe Lynch, very talented guys. They have great guests on there, so definitely check it out. Lots of great information. And until next time, don't forget to write, shoot, edit, repeat.